for those that may not be in perfect health. If you've had prostate cancer, heart conditions, high cholesterol, or on prescription medications, you may still qualify for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance. Get a quick quote by calling Term Provider at 800-555-2085. 800-555-2085. If you're looking for term life insurance but have type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, or have other health issues, call Term Provider at 800-555-2085 or visit termprovider.com. Termprovider.com.
It's open enrollment season, and MediShare is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry that saves most families about $500 a month. Google MediShare and see if it is a fit for you.
Here's Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Harlem Avenue remains blocked in lines between the Stevenson and 47th. This is due to a rollover semi and fuel spill. On the Stevenson, we see fairly mild delays between Central and Ryan. It's 30 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. How about 29 with a tight spot approaching the Tri-State? The Kennedy is running 30 minutes, so O'Hare to downtown, a little quicker in the Express. Outbound 21 minutes to the airport. Inbound Eisenhower, it's heavy with delays starting at North Avenue. 50 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 34. Ryan is 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishopport outbound, there's a delay. 130th, the Steel Bridge with a stalled semi blocking the center lane. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
More of Chicago's Morning Answer show comes your way next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Lots of hazy sunshine today. It's going to be warm, 80 degrees for a high. Clear sky tonight will dip down to 61. Then tomorrow it'll be mostly sunny, nice and warm, high temperature of 83 degrees. Right now it's 62 degrees. Your next news update in 30 minutes. Continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. I'm Elisa Z. Now more of Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, and as anticipated, in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, after the police-involved shooting of a knife-wielding man there, rioting ensued, in part, I think, because the same pandering and appeasement was featured by local officials in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, as you have seen in Kenosha and big cities throughout America. Lancaster Mayor Deneen Soros responding at a presser to the police-involved shooting once the body cam video was released.
Yesterday was a heartbreaking day for our city. My heart breaks for Ricardo Munez's family and the devastation it brought our community. A life was lost and lives were forever changed, including the officer involved.
Yeah.
Did she see the video? I mean, you can see it. The guy's wielding like a 10-inch knife and he's screaming and charging at the officer. I mean, I'm sorry that it was a good shot, though. It was what you're supposed to do if somebody's threatening your life.
Well, especially with the sort of the 21-foot rule as it's known, and I don't know that if this is a protocol still in all police departments, but the 21-foot rule is essentially a calculation that was made by an officer and that became part of police training for many generations, that you have 21 feet. If an assailant is 21 feet from you, that's the amount of time you have to pull your weapon and discharge 2 rounds center mass before he can get to you with his knife or sharp object. And the guy, this was a response to a domestic call. The mom calling police because her son was trying to break into her home. He comes out of the house after police show up and charges, and you can see the officer retreating while he shoots because the guy is running at him with a knife over his head in the air like he's, about to attack.
You could see the rage in his face. I mean, I would have done the same thing.
So the point, though, is why is it that we can't have public officials be they elected like mayors or appointed like police chiefs, say what we know to be true. My heart breaks for the look. I'm sorry anybody loses their life, but however, if I was the mayor of Lancaster, Pennsylvania,
What would you have said?
Look, we had this situation. Police, I would just say what we know to be true. The police respond to a domestic call. The call was that this kid, this young man, was trying to break into his mom's home. Maybe there are mental health issues with him. I don't know. But what I do know from the body cam video is when police arrived, this young man comes out of the door, charges at the police officer with a knife, and he protects his life by shooting the assailant. It's real simple in this world. You comply with police officers and everybody goes home. You got a beef with a police officer, you adjudicate it in a court of law. That's why we have courts of law. Period. The end.
And
Why is there no mayor in this country that seems able to utter those words and just provide the facts of a particular incident rather than all the emotional sophistry that we're treated to, which is just pandering to the mob? And you know what it does when you pander to the mob? It incites the mob. And that's exactly what Lancaster has experienced over the last 2 nights, haven't they?
Yeah, and it's not a kid. 27-year-old Ricardo Munoz is his name.
For more on this, particularly in the context, too, of the assassination attempt of those 2 officers in Compton and the celebration of that in certain quarters, I got to play this again. Kevin Wharton Price, Africa Town Coalition in L.A., he's a leftist activist. This is the video he posted on his Facebook page in response to the shooting of those 2 Compton cops.
A unknown assailant walked up and bust a cap on both of them, shot him in the head. So, I mean, what are we supposed to do, y'all? We're supposed to celebrate today because the oppressor has been slain. So if this is a start of retribution, then I think this is a very good start.
And in case you missed it, there's a $175,000 reward. It's a miracle that the 2 officers are alive. And if you haven't seen the video, the female cop, she's got shot in the jaw and she's got blood all over her chest, and she is helping provide a tourniquet to her partner. But
it was heroic on her part.
Yeah, and the LA County, because she was very calm, and the LA County Sheriff said, look, LeBron James, why don't you match that $175,000 reward?
I want you to match that and double that reward, because I know you care about law enforcement. You expressed a very, very interesting statement about your perspective on race relations and on officer-involved shootings and the impact that it has on the African-American community. I appreciate that. But likewise, we need to appreciate that respect for life goes across professions, across races, creeds.
Yeah, LeBron, you're so woke. Let's go.
I don't care what LeBron James does, but I do care that Kevin Wharton Price is somebody that has been treated as a community leader by the mayor of Los Angeles, Eric Garcetti. He's consulted with Kevin Wharton Price, who's advocating for the assassination of police officers. And this is not isolated. You had signage in Seattle at police protests that people who kill cops are my heroes. That's the culture right now. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Jim DeMint, former U.S. Senator, former President of Heritage Foundation, chairman of the Conservative Partnership Institute. Jim, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Dan, thanks for having me, and thank you for your introduction here. I mean, what you said about what needs to happen in this country is exactly right.
Well, you penned a piece that I saw over at Daily Caller that a big blue lie is what has fueled a summer of riots. What is that big blue lie?
Well, it's the lie that the Democrats care about the poor people in these very difficult communities, that they care about the children that are trapped in these failing schools, that they care about the economic interest of these people, that they put in these the terrible public housing, and they will not support alternatives. They just lie about caring. What they want is what they're getting chaos. They want to create this sense that America is just in complete disarray so that they can have a political change. But when over 95% of police shootings, Dan, happen when someone attacks a police officer with a weapon. And of course, in the middle of all this, there are mistakes, that someone pulls a cell phone in the dark after running from police, and police think it might be a gun. But after being attacked so many times and being in so much danger, they have a right and a responsibility to respond. And like you said, if we have an encounter with police, if we do what they say, the chances of something bad happening are almost zero. But what we see is people attacking police, folks who've taken a lot of drugs, hard to control, resist arrest, go for a weapon, and for Democrat leaders to take the side of these people against police is just encouraging more and more of this chaos around the country. It's completely irresponsible, but it is a big blue lie that Democrats and the left care about poor people, black people, and other people who are really just not getting a fair shake in our country.
Well, Senator DeMint, I don't know if you know about this, but Kamala Harris, she visited Jacob Blake's family in Kenosha, Wisconsin. She talked to Jacob Blake on the phone, told him that she was proud of him. And then she's in California for the fires, and she doesn't visit those ambushed L.A. deputies in her own state. What does that say?
Well, it's exactly what we're saying, that they're kowtowing to this guy who we know is a Marxist, a Farrakhan advocate, and then the people who are really standing between us and the criminals who are in the hospital attacked because they were police officers. They were not attacking anybody else. They were in their car. They were attacked only because they were standing up for law and order. But the Democrats are not going to be seen visiting with their families. And I just hope America will wake up and see what the end result of all of this is going to be if we glorify the kind of violence and murder at the expense of people who are in uniform trying to protect us.
You know, it seems to me, I know everybody's focused on November 3rd, understandably, but this is going to continue regardless of who wins the presidency. And so there's this opportunity in states, well, particularly cities that have been big cities that have been dominated by Democrats for 50 years, for 100 years, like Chicago. It seems to me this is an opportunity for a building exercise for the Republican Party. Build off what Trump has done to make overtures to be present in the black community and Latino communities, to really try to bring more minority support to him and to the Republican Party, and reconstitute Republican Party organizations in urban centers around this country to not only compete for those mayoralties, but to do a better job competing in the blue states or the purple states in which those cities are located, and really flip the script on those cities and what their future could be if you reinstitute the rule of law.
Well, you're right, Dan. This is a real opportunity for Republicans. Trump has done more for working class Americans, for black Americans. He promotes school choice that's primarily going to help the poor and minorities. He's pushed and passed opportunity zones, which are getting more investment in these areas that have just been stuck in poverty for years. But I'll take one exception to what you said. A lot of this violence is going to stop if Joe Biden wins the election. Just like when Obama and Biden were in, the left did not have to create these kind of chaotic situations in order to have political change. A lot of this now was set up and ready to go, and they were just looking for something to light the fuse to make it look like Trump has caused this, which is completely illogical and ridiculous, that he has caused police shootings in Democrat-controlled areas that he had nothing to do with. But yet they're saying he is the one who is doing this. So a lot of this is for political purposes. It will go away. I don't know that the Chicago shootings will go away because they've been going on for years. But I can tell you, if Trump is reelected, he's going to continue to try to do something about it, because I've never seen anyone more committed to keeping his promises He really does care about these poor black children stuck in failing schools, because I've heard him talk about it in private. And so folks may not like his style, Dan, but there is no one like him who is trying to do more to create real change than Donald Trump right now.
He is Jim DeMint, former U.S. Senator, president of Heritage Foundation, and now chairman of the Conservative Partnership Institute. Senator DeMint, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks. And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Here's the president of the Illinois Chamber of Commerce, Todd Meisch, talking about the proposed income tax hike amendment on the November state ballot.
Springfield politicians already raised income taxes twice in the last decade. This tax hike amendment would let them increase taxes by billions more whenever they want, and a blank check to spend the money however they want, with no limits and no accountability. It would trigger a huge tax increase on thousands